2006, we became a program, and Donna Billick and I share the responsibility of directing the Art Science Fusion program. So we're working at Honeybee Haven. Our interest is the honeybee and pollination and the importance of those things to humans.
Welcome to Haagen-Dazs Honeybee Haven Garden. We're located here at the campus of UC Davis, and right next to us is the Harry H. Laidlaw Honeybee Research Facility. Honeybee Haven Garden is a 1/2 acre garden. The garden was put in last fall to serve as a year-round food source for the 3 million honeybees that we have here on campus. These onions are in fact ready to harvest, but so that people can understand where their fruits and vegetables are coming from, we're actually going to let these ones go to flower. And there's a beautiful globe-like flower that'll pop open here in a couple of weeks, and the honeybees will be all over this onion. And once it's all done, what we'll end up with is the seeds that we need to replant. Whether you have an apartment with a patio or an expansive acreage at your home, we're asking people to go out there to find the plants that'll attract honeybees. What we need is for a corridor of homes to each have pollen and nectar resources for honeybees.
One thing we're really clear about is we want the students to be in the environment.
Researchers think that the bees imprint on one kind of flower the very first time that they go to harvest. The foragers generally pick one small area where they forage, and they usually start on one particular plant, and then they forage in that area, and then they go back to that original plant, and then they leave. But they'll go 8 to 10 miles to find that one particular small area.
Every quarter, we're dealing with a piece of art that's going to be site-specific. They'll have their design, they can work with mosaic. Most of them will be making hand-built items out of clay. The Labudio, lab plus studio. We have an artist and a scientist who stand next to each other, so the student has a chance to correct any misconceptions they have about the science. And then from the point of view of the artist, allowing them the opportunity to have an experiential based learning, to come into the studio and right away get their hands onto materials.
My name is Ricardo Calles and I'm a civil engineer major. So it's a really young queen and she's going to be the next queen bee. Without the queen bee, there wouldn't be any more bees.
The different types of worker bees include the nurse bee, the guard bee, the builder, and the more mature worker bees are actually the nectar and pollen gatherers.
Sometimes they even bring back a small sample of the nectar so that their fellow bees know what they're going after.
One of the most sort of admirable things about bees is their dedication and their sort of devotion to the world around them.
This bee will be created by Billick Rock Art, and this will be built using a steel armature. 3 courses of wire will upholster that armature. I've already had a meeting with Sue Kobe to make sure that the proportions, the way that the legs come out of the thorax area was accurate, and the shape and size of the antenna, which are so important for them navigating and communicating with. Into that armature will be a coat of cement and sand, ferrous cement strategy that they use for building boats and architectural structures. So it's a very sound form for our exterior Honeybee Haven site. And then it'll be covered with thousands and thousands of little mosaic facets to really have this bee kind of come alive on the top of our Honeybee Haven entry bench form, reaching out into the elementary schools in an outreach, which is another part of the community build aspect of the art science fusion. This is typically how we go about the design phase, create a small replica of what it is that we're reaching for in the Labudio. When we have our model or design, then actually taking it to the rock, putting it into clay. Translating from the head to the hand is where that learning piece and the experience and the hands-on really come together in the individual. Design, fabrication, and installation are what are ahead of us. Teachers can do a workshop of the art-science fusion, knowing that all of this information, all of these designs are going to be modeled into actual pieces of art that will be mortared permanently. Community that's established between the undergraduate, the elementary school, K through 12 outreach, and then staff, faculty, and community at large.